Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Joey, and welcome back to another video here on my channel. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys two meta builds for the Tenet Envoy in Warframe 2025. Now, I know, or I'm not sure actually if it was last year or the year before, this was one of the most popular weapons in all of Warframe. So I'll be covering it here. Should be really solid for you guys out there who use this weapon in maybe some lower level missions, or even maybe some higher level content, and you're looking for some different styled builds. So yeah, I have two meta builds for you guys today. They're going to be different. One's going to be AoE focused, one's going to be single target focused. This gun does have accessibility to multiplicative gun co, so single target builds are always going to be a viable option for something like that. Especially when a gun has like respectable stats like this weapon does. So getting into the first build, we're going to be talking about the AoE build. Now, I tried a lot of things. I tried Viral Heat, I tried Corrosive Heat, I tried Blast, I tried Corrosive Blast. I've tried a handful of things, and what I've landed on here is actually going to be Gas. Now, this weapon has pretty bad status chance, so being able to proc something like Heat or electric or even toxin, something that's going to tick as a dot, ticking blast up to 10. It's going to be really hard with a weapon, one, that fires as slow as this one does, and two, has the status chance value that it does. The status chance value would be in a totally different scenario if this was a weapon with a high fire rate, but this is a weapon with a very low fire rate, so we need to take into account that we only have 8 bullets in the mag, it has a very low fire rate, and we only have 24% status chance. So the best value that we can get out of dots most likely is either going to come from Hunter Munitions, since we have valuable critical chance values, and or something like Gas, where you only need really to get one proc to do significant damage in a field. Really to the point where if your primary fire won't kill, that this will actually do the rest of the damage for you. Really, that's kind of what I was aiming for with the Tenet Envoy kind of build for AoE style. You're going to be doing a lot of damage through things like walls. So having dot ticks is going to be really nice. Just for things like cleanup. So you don't have to go around that corner and go finish them off. You could shoot them once. You're going to get that dot tick on them, hopefully. And then the dot will take care of the rest. If you use some external grouping sources as well, it'll work even better. Now, as far as the build goes here, as far as the stat line is, what I have here on the stat line is I'm actually using Vital Sense here for critical damage, as this weapon has definitely respectable critical damage value. So we're going to be opting for Vital Sense here, as well as it has respectable enough base value CC. So we get up to 84% with critical delay on here, which isn't bad. Obviously we would like it to be better, but it's not bad as it is. Definitely something we could use if you wanted to go for an HM style build. It's viable because you're not going to be guaranteeing the crit on every shot because you're not at 100%, but you're playing with 16% fire. So it's really up to you guys how you want to go about it. But for me, I think the Gas works really well. So then we have Galvanized Chamber on here. This is a multi-shot build. Multi-shot's going to be key. Those extra instances of damage are going to be very important for doing the maximum amount of damage that we need to deal to be able to kill these enemies in Warframe 2025. We have critical delay on here. Like I said, this is bumping our CC up to 84%. Our elemental combo lies here. We have Infected Clip and we have Hellfire. Now, I have Toxin on here as my Valiant's trait. You guys can go for whatever you want. I just went for the Toxin to bolster the elemental value of what I already have combined. So just know that. So we have Gas on here, and the Radial Attack has Innate Cold. So if you don't double mod your elements, like say I was to take... can I take this off of this? Yeah. Take this off. You see, this turns into Blast. Because I only have one mod modded on the build, so the Innate mod gets priority over the Valence Formation. Bonus, not for Valence Formation, the Valence bonus up here. So yeah, so you see, you need to mod double element if you want to control the cold. So we're going for Gas with cold on the side. Cold will still be nice. It's going to increase our critical damage values per stack of cold, which still we're not going to complain about. Now, since we're going to be dealing Gas on this build, we are opting for elemental damage bonuses. So we have our Bane on here so we can double dip. This is very important for our status damage builds. We want to have our Bane on here, as this is going to be better than anything else we'll be able to put in this slot as far as dealing the status damage will go in the grand scheme of your overall build. Now, you have Rifle Elementalist on here. This is also status damage multiplier. Very important that you run the two of these on any status damage build you have. Just prefacing that the punch through is not going to do anything. This weapon doesn't have any punch through. It is locked at 0. as well as we are using Prime Firestorm to get us up to 11.52 meter range. This is the range that we're going to be working with on this weapon. That is very significant. I think the highest range we have in the game is maybe about 15 meters or just under 15 meters, so this is pretty respectable on that regard. So yeah, as far as the gas AoE build goes here as well, and we also have Primary Merciless. Now, one thing I want to mention is the reload of this weapon is painfully bad. Like, it's really, really, really bad. So I would definitely recommend you go with Merciless here because it's going to give you some reload help if you actually decide to manually reload. But something else you could do is you could run something like the synth set. Like, you could put one here and maybe you could run your primer as your secondary. You could run synth on there for the status duration, so you'll get the extra holster weapon reload. So reload 10% of your mag per second. So you can reload the weapon that way. It's really up to you however you guys want to go about it. But just giving you guys that option because even with Primary Merciless on here, it is a 3.1 second reload time, which is ridiculously slow. And then we run Primed Sniper Ammo Mutation on here because DE, they messed the ammo up a while back, a couple years ago, and it's never been the same since. So, yep, we run this on here to make sure we can sustain some semblance of having ammo on the build. Now, as far as this goes, a weapon like this, in the grand scheme of AoE, it's just going to be okay. Realistically. Actually, I think I have the wrong Doriga build on right now. So hold on, let me change this. Or not the wrong Doriga, the wrong, no, I'll save the code on here. Okay, so you can see in the grand scheme right now, it's not really doing all that much. It's doing some. It's doing good. But now you can see we actually have some stacks. Now that we have some stacks up, now you can see that we'll actually be able to deal some real damage. And you can see how nice it is with Nautilus grouping. Nautilus just pulls them all together. You just put one shot into them. You're going to be able to stack elements on them. That's 3 elements right there. You're going to get your Manifold Bond reset. I'm going to spawn them. It's going to pull right away. Or maybe not. Sometimes in Sim, it doesn't want to pull right away. But, yeah, it's up here. There we go. Might not have had it up. Might have had it up. Who knows? But, yeah, that's the way it's going to work. You're going to be able to get your elements on here, your unique elements. So you'll be able to reset Manifold Bond. You're not going to have any problems. And then so you'll be able to really see here that it can do a good chunk of damage. The dot ticks themselves will also still do a nice chunk. You can see it ticks, and gas will tick separately. So, you can see we're doing a nice value of damage here, to these enemies overall. Now, obviously, it's going to be better when they're clumped up. When they're clumped up, you're going to get more value out of the gas. Yes, so if you're going to use this, use something that'll help you group. You don't need to use something that'll help you group, but it will make the build that much better. Now, if you're not going to use something that's going to help you group, what I would recommend is that you use this weapon, at least this build, with some kind of platform in front of it. Now, I'm not even showing a real platform in front of it. All I'm just going to mention is the fact that we're buffing it. So I'm something like Hotshot on here. I have Neutron Star, so we're going to be able to proc Hotshot. We're going to get another 300%, so we're going to get into orange crit territory now. So we're getting over 100%, which is going to be valuable. I'm also going to be applying Nourish, and it'll be applying Nourish via my first ability. That's really going to be it. I'm not going to be showing you guys with all that much buffer. If you just show it with a little bit here, I might even going to use Molecular Prime. I spawn these enemies in here. If I use something like Nourish, I prime them with my 1. You can kind of just see once we actually get some stacks up. You can see already, though, that the dot ticks are much, much higher. The values that we're getting out of the dot ticks, they're a lot higher, which is really, really nice. And now you kind of just see here, with the actual extra buffing on top, with like viral priming, because if you don't know, Nova's 1 counts as an ability, so it will prime with viral when you use Neutron Star, or even just the regular ability, it doesn't really matter, but you can manually proc it like this with Neutron Star. So yeah, that's the way I do it here. But you guys can just see, when you actually have stacks on this weapon, you have a little bit of buffing in front of it. It's a really, really solid option. As far as AoE clear goes in the meta of Warframe right now, I understand really why a lot of people use this weapon, why it was so heavily used, in years past, and even if still now a lot of people will use it. I'm not really too sure, but it definitely packs power. I can't deny the power that it has. It's definitely strong. Not the strongest weapon I've ever used, I would say, but definitely really comfortable, really, really strong. You can get your missions done with this. Base SP shouldn't be any problem whatsoever with a build like this. So if you guys are looking for an AoE-styled build, I would recommend you give something like this a try. Now, if you guys want to mess around with the elemental combos and go with the different elemental combo, you guys can go for that as well. But for me, I think gas works really, really well, and I'm going to be sticking with gas here on mine. Now, As far as the second meta build goes, this weapon, like I said, has multiplicative gunko. So we are going to be making a build specifically to abuse the hell out of multiplicative gunko. Also, we're going to be abusing like headshots with primary acuity. So it's going to be really, really interesting stuff here. Now, you guys can go for a multi-shot build on this if you so choose to. Realistically, you could just put chamber here instead and just change it into a multi-shot build. You might want to change a couple other things around, but realistically, this is just how I'm leaving it right now. And as far as what I'm going to show you guys here is I'm going to show you guys how it works on buff. Now you'll be able to see here the weapon right off the start really, it's just gonna do a moderate amount of damage. You obviously need to get your stacks up, and then once you get your stacks up, then you're gonna get that multiplicative value, and you're gonna be able to see here that multiplicative value is actually, it's only gonna be on the main damage. You can see like we get 35 million right there, so like it actually does happen, but it's only gonna come from the main fire of the weapon. It's not gonna come from the radial attack. It's only gonna come from the main fire. So you're still going to get damage, obviously, out of the radial attack for your base damage and your elemental damage and things like that, but you're not going to get multiplicative values out of your radial attack, only out of the base attack itself, which is still going to give us some really nice value. As far as the build goes itself here, we have Prime Bane of Grenier on here. This is going to be our double dip on here. It's also going to be just big damage multiplier against the faction that we're going up against. We're target factioning with multiplicative gunko usually, so it's nice to have the target faction Bane on here to increase our damage even more so. If you guys don't want to go for target faction Bane, just put base damage on here. It's just to bolster the multiplicative values of gunko even more. Vital Sense on here for CD, primary acuity on here for big CC to weak points and big base damage to weak points as well. We have critical delay on here for the flat 200% to get us up to 84%, like I was talking about before. We have Hammer Shot on here. This is giving us more critical damage. This is totally flex a spot right here. You can put really whatever you want here. If you wanted to keep Bane too, you could put base damage right here as well if you want. Like I said, totally up to you. Go whatever way you want about this. We have Stormbringer and Infected Clip on here to make corrosive. As I was saying, you need to compensate for the cold. So we have corrosive cold with our galvanized aptitude on here. This is going to be our multiplicative gunko source. Then we also have primary deadhead on here for 360% base damage, easily stacked up. 50% reduced recoil, and we're going to get our 1.3x headshot multiplier, which is going to be really, really handy. You can see on this build as well, we're getting upwards of 8.5x critical damage, which is going to be really, really nice. So we're going to be dealing a ton of damage with this one. Now, like I said, this is going to be your single target build. This one is meant to focus on single targeting. Like I said, you're going to be shooting one enemy at a time. Shoot this guy here in the head. You need to get your stacks up, like I said, but you can already see here I have 2 stacks. Now I still have 2. Now I have 3. And you can see it'll do really good damage. Now, if you actually use something like a primer on top of this, and you're using the multiplicative values, you'll get numbers like that. 56 million. 53 million. We actually got a red crit there, which is kind of cool. 8.5 million on that guy. You can see this guy has about 4 status effects on. Now 2. Doesn't really do all that much. 3.1 million still, though. So you're able to get good values out of the multiplicative damage from this weapon. So if you wanted to use this in a single target scenario, like for killing like in disruption maybe, you want to kill things like that, then this is definitely an option. Now, like I said though, this is a bit annoying to aim. But as far as the damage that it outputs, it's definitely feasible. Like, it does significant damage values. Definitely nothing that you would scoff at. Like, if I put a bunch of Manics out here right now, see how it does against the Manic Bombards. 23 million on that guy. 43 on that. And this is unbuffed, too, from my frame. This is just, obviously, just the gunko plus the build itself. 52 million. 21 million, 40 million. So you get the gist of it. And if I was to buff myself up, like say I was even to do molecular and all the good stuff on this one, now you can see the pitiful reload right here as well. Very, very slow. Say they're fully debuffed this time. Now if I go for a headshot, we're going to get a number I can't even see apparently. Okay. 71 million orange crit. 123 million red crit. 10 million on that guy. 110 million orange crit on that enemy. So, if you want to buff it with your frame, obviously you can make it way, way stronger. But just to show you guys how strong it could be on its own, this is what I have for you guys. So if you guys enjoyed the 2 builds I have for you guys today, leave a like, leave a comment, please subscribe. It helps me out a ton. Thank you guys for watching my video. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and peace.